Thank you. Good morning. Well, as Honorable Vice Chancellor was mentioning the population density, I thought I should also mention that today the world has about 8 billion, near about 8 billion people. It's 7.7 billion people. If you take all these 7.7 billion people and send them to United States, the population density that it will create in the United States, Bangladesh population density is today is worse than that. So there's more people per square kilometer or per square mile than the density that it will create to all the people who live there. So looking at Australia from that country, we'll feel very sorry for Australia. You must be feeling so lonely. We enjoy bumping at each other every day. People everywhere. That's a very challenging task in Bangladesh. It's such a densely populated country, and it's still increasing. And our land mass is decreasing because of global warming. We talk about global warming, sea level rising. These are just academic facts. But for us, it's life and death. As sea level rises, Bangladesh slides into the sea. Bangladesh is a very flat country. We don't see any hill in our country, just a flat country. Almost 1/4 of the country is about 1 meter above the sea level, on average. So there are lots of land, hardly 1/4 meter above the sea level and so on. So if the sea level rises, that land goes into it. And then it pushes the people to go up north because the sea is in the south. So what happens to our density there? Imagine that. And that's a continuous process. People have to move because salinity gets in, and the salinity destroys the land quality to produce any food, so people lost their livelihood. They want to find a livelihood further up north, and the north gets worse. And soon it will take us into a situation where we have new refugees, climate refugees, can't be home anymore, there's no place. So these are kind of scary things that you see in front of you, how it's coming up. But we are happy, but Bangladesh has come a long way, as this was being mentioned by the Vice Chancellor. We came a long way, absolutely dirt poor country. Now we have come to a stage where we can see that we come across long distances. One such sign is we are struggling to make sure that we achieve all the 8 Millennium Development Goals, if you remember those 8 Millennium Development Goals. The first one is to reduce poverty by half by the year 2015. When these were adopted in the year 2000 in the Millennium Summit of the United Nations, people around the world laughed at them. It looks so kind of absurd idea to reduce poverty by half in such a short period, 15 years. These are just like other UN kind of big goals, never achieved. During the 90s, you remember, they were always, the UN always telling us, education for all by the year 2000, health for all by the year 2000, housing for all by the year 2000. When the 2000 came, nobody looked back. What did we do that? Forgot it. And we didn't do anything, not much. So they thought this is another such kind of public stand. But many of us take it very seriously to make sure that we achieve them is so important. And we are very happy that Bangladesh achieved almost all of those 8 Millennium Development Goals. 6 of them completely done, 2 of them very close. One of them is a maternal mortality. We couldn't make it, but came close to it. But the first one that we feel so good about is the number 1, reducing poverty by half by 2015. Bangladesh achieved it by the middle of 2013. Didn't have to wait until 2015. So Bangladesh reduced poverty in that 15 years by half, more than we could achieve before the 2015. We did it 2.5 years back. So we kind of feel good that we could achieve this. Now we look at the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. Goal number 1 is to reduce poverty to 0. And we take it seriously. And we look at our history, how we did that. We see our poverty reduction percentage-wise every year is increasing. So during the 90s, we had the reduction of poverty at the rate of 1% per year, which was good. First 5 years of 2000, it came to 2% per year. Next 5 years, it came to 2.5% to 3%. So if you're reducing at the rate of 2.5% or even 3%, you'll be hitting the 0 point way before 2030. So it's a question of retaining that speed that we already achieved. So that gives us hope that yes, we have lots of disadvantages. We have no minerals, no real infrastructure, but still we made this happen. So that opens up a new door for us. We want to see how to make sure we don't slow down on that path. One of the things Bangladesh has done is to make, along the years that I'm talking about, last 40 years, we created a new financial system called microcredit. It was not designed in any kind of laboratory or kind of thesis or research. It was just happened because of the desperation. Situation was so desperate, you want to do something about it. We all know about saying that necessity is the mother of invention. So when you are desperate, that necessity becomes very intensified. You feel it and you want to do something. And that doing led to a completely new path. And here I am in a university campus, and I feel good when I come to the university campus because that's where I'm from. That's where my life began, in the university campus. And I particularly like coming to this university because we are almost like a family now because of the Yunus Center for Health Hub. So this relates us to each other. It's important because that desperation happened while I'm teaching economics, seeing people die of hunger. And economics don't seem to have any clue how to help people out of hunger and death. So I was trying to see if I can make myself useful somewhere in the village next door, which is just outside the campus. Actually, campus is located right in the middle of villages, that's all. It's a beautiful campus, just like any other campus in the world. But you cross it, you get into 1,000-year-old villages all around. So that I took as an advantage. I can go to real Bangladesh waiting outside the campus. So I go there and see if I can do something. And as I do, trying to find a way to make myself useful to somebody, at least one person, each day. So I'm always looking for something that I can do today. And it's a tiny thing, but at least I feel good that I'm useful. I'm not useless completely, the way I feel when I stand there in the classroom. I feel useless because the thing I teach has no meaning to life of the people. So I want to find my usefulness outside the campus. And among many things I did, I discovered something called loan sharking, lending tiny money to people and grab everything they have in the name of giving money. And it's so painful. It's so ugly when you see that face to face. And since you go there every day, you meet people who are the victims of loan sharks. You meet the people who made the other people victims, both sides. They look like good people, but actually, one side looks at the other as a monster, grabbing everything from them. And I felt bad that I cannot do anything. There's nothing I learned in school helps me to solve this problem. So I was again feeling desperate that what do you do in a situation like that? Suddenly an idea came. Why don't I lend the money myself? Instead of complaining about the loan shark, instead of having a research proposal to study loan sharking, impact of loan sharking in the village of Bangladesh, and have a journal article someplace, I just went ahead and started lending money out of my own pocket. Because my idea was, if I lend money, people will come to me, they won't go to loan shark, because it's so much easy, so much happy to do it this way. They loved it. In the beginning, I had an idea, but I didn't know how it will grow. But now that people are coming to me, I feel very happy, meaning that it must make sense to them to come to me rather than go to loan shark. So I said, if I have 5 or 10 people like that, at least I have saved these 10 people from the loan shark by lending the money to them. I don't have to go and march on the street to stop loan sharking. I just do the stop loan sharking for 10 people. But it didn't stop at 10 people. There are 20 more, there are 50 more, there are 100 more, keep coming. And the more they come, I get very happy. I don't get threatened by that. I feel happy that, yes, it's an endorsement that I'm doing the right thing. So I happily dish out all the money they need. And that was the beginning of microcredit. And along the way, it became so big, I thought of creating a separate bank, because the conventional bank will not do that. They will always explaining to me, poor people are not creditworthy. I said, what does it mean? He said, it means that they will never be able to pay you back. I said, they are paying me back all the time. Oh, there may be exception, but in general, it don't. I said, well, where do you get the general before you find out the particular? So they will not do that. I said, do you have the right to judge the people and say they are not creditworthy? Or should the people judge you that you are not people-worthy? And you are not people-worthy. You have to redesign yourself to make yourself people-worthy. The one that you created has nothing to do with people. You are only working with the rich businesses, corporations, and so on, but you're not in touch with people. More than half the population of the entire world has nothing to do with banking system. So the more I say it, the more I get convinced myself that yes, the world is a very funny place. It has a whole banking system which don't have to do anything with people and get away with it. The whole emptiness, vacuum is waiting right there. So I keep raising this issue and continue to do it and make sure that it works well so that I can demonstrate it to the people. It can be done. You can't say it cannot be done. And it worked beautifully because it covers all the cost. And every single test you can make, they pass in a glowing way. And people ask me, how did you design this thing that you call microcredit? Lending money, tiny money to poor people, particularly poor women. I thought about it. How did I do that? Because every time I was doing it, it's kind of spur of the moment. Yes, let's do it this way. And I was doing it with my students. I didn't hire people, just the students in my class and other faculties. It's not limited to economics. They're enthusiastic young people who are coming and gathering around me, going to the village, doing the things as it's growing bigger and bigger. And whenever I needed some rules, I just do that. So when the question asked, I try to answer it in a systematic way. I said, look, every time I need a rule to go ahead, how to lend money to people, I look at the conventional banks, how they do it. After all, they're doing it for different kind of people. Once I learned how they do it, I just do the opposite. And it worked. See, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to do that. You just figure it out and do the opposite. Literally everything they do, we do the opposite. They go to the rich, we go to the poor. They go to men, we go to women. They go to the cities, we go to the villages. They want collateral. You have to have possessions, you have to have properties before they will lend you money against that. We dismiss that completely. I said, if you're coming up with those old ideas, you'll never get to the poor people. You go straight. So how do you go straight? How do you know they will pay back? So build a relationship of trust. So we build a relationship of trust. We trust them, they trust us. No papers. So Grameen Bank became the only bank in the world free from lawyers. We have no lawyers in our system. We don't need it. We deal with billions of dollars every year, lending money, but no papers. Conventional bankers get scared. My God, you're in trouble. I said, I've never been in trouble. 40 years, we have never been in trouble. So we don't see trouble ahead. So that led me to another conclusion. If you want to go to a destination, you need a path. You create a path. This is the path you take and you get to the destination. But if you want to go to different destination, you cannot go to the same destination with the same path. If you want a separate destination, you have to have a separate path. So I said the system that we build, institutions we build, will not give the answer to the problem that is created. System which creates the problem cannot solve the problem. You need the other path. If you do the opposite, if they go to the rich, if you go to the poor, then you have to build a path completely in a reverse way. So if they tell you in your classroom, this is the way to solve the problem, you don't believe it. Simple. It will never get you there. You have to build a new path. If it makes sense to you, you cannot use the same path to go to a different destination. You need a different path, and you have to build that path yourself. And it's not difficult. That's the point I'm making to you. If you reverse it, you'll get there. That's how we can do the thing that we do. Now microcredit is a global phenomenon. More than 300 million women have received microcredit globally and continue to expand. In Grameen Bank in Bangladesh, we have 9 million people, 97% women within Grameen Bank. So that led me to many things. First of all, I kept saying that all people are capable of taking care of themselves. Simply, system never believed in it. System said you have to go and work for somebody else. You have no capability of taking care of yourself. Somebody has to take care of you. Work for him. I protested that. I don't believe in that. And then along the way, we solved other problems, problem of health, problem of education, problem of environment, and many things. Every time I see a problem, I try to solve it in my own way. I create a business to solve that. So I created lots of businesses to solve problems. And every time it's a business, it's a separate business. Why did I get into business to solve a problem? People don't do that. People create business to do what? To make money. Why did I think about using business to solve problems? I don't know, because I thought that's a good way. Because I was thinking, should I do it with the donation? Because this is how it's done. If you have people's problem, you get some donation, help them to solve the problem. That's a poverty, education, healthcare, and so on, donation. I said, donation, charity is a good idea, but it has a limitation. Charity money goes out, does the work, beautiful work, but the money doesn't come back. So you have only one-time use of your money. If you can somehow design it as a business to do the same thing, same objective of charity, put a business engine behind it. And the money goes out, does the work, business brings it back. And it becomes very powerful. And this is what I did without knowing what I was doing. And I said, this is a very powerful thing. Charity money has one life, but the moment the other type of business, which I call social business, that social business money has endless life. It never dies. It continues to work for you. Do more of the same, reach out more, because it circulates. I said, why don't you do it this way? And I started defining it as non-dividend company to solve human problems. So I kept saying that why don't we teach in the classroom to all the young people who are learning economics, there are two kinds of business. Business to make money, business to solve problems. So you take your pick, what you want. Don't say that business means business. Business means make money, maximization of profit. That's wrong. Human beings are not money-making robots the way we look like now, because business makes us look like money-making robots. We forget everything. Business-centric mind feels that money is the center of our life. It is not. Human beings are not sold for that. So human beings are selfish, also selfless. So why don't we use the selfless part of us, create another type of business? That's a social business. Here, we don't consider us, we consider others. In conventional business, everything is for me, nothing for others. We create the reverse, social business. In social business, everything for others, nothing for me. Just a counterpart. So it balances both. Nobody is forcing you to do social business. But if you want, it's available. That's a tool. If you want to solve problems, it can be done. So problem solving doesn't have to be relegated to the government. Today, that's what we do. When we have problems, why don't the government do it? As if we have to do nothing. That's not true. We individual human beings have unlimited power, unlimited creative power, but we don't use it. We say government should do that. We are busy taking care of ourselves, making money. That is not the problem of the people. It's the problem of the people who designed all those ideas, which is now known as capitalist system. Capitalist system based in aiming at one direction, make money. And they said, if you continue to make money, all other problems get resolved. It doesn't. It led us to wealth concentration. All the wealth now is in the hands of few people. 1% of the population of the world own 99% of the wealth of the world. And it gets worse every day. That's what the system does to us, and we don't recognize it. So if you want to undo that, if you want to say, instead of having all the wealth to the few people, we want to share it by all the people, then the same path which created this problem will not be able to do that. You have to build another system. If you want to go to the reverse way, your system has to function in the reverse way too. So these are the issues now. You have to sort it out. So social business expands. Now many people are interested in social business. We create lots of social businesses in Bangladesh, in other countries, one after another. And that's what your hub here will be studying, how to use the social business ideas in the healthcare. We have created a lot of healthcare programs on the basis of social business. Anybody can do that. That's the beauty of the whole thing. You don't have to be somebody important to do that. You may be a tiny guy doing tiny little thing. You can do a social business too. It's not earth-shattering idea, simple idea, But your creative power comes into the action and make it happen. For example, if you want to take 5 unemployed young people, unemployment is a problem. So I cannot solve the problem of unemployment for the whole world, but definitely I can solve the problem of 5 unemployed young people. What do we have to do? Create a business. Business which you create not to make money for yourself, but to absorb these 5 unemployed young people into business so that it will be self-sustaining. It will be selling something, doing something, so that you'll have enough money to pay for everybody and create a surplus, which goes back into it. How long does it take to create in mind, design it? 10 minutes. You just spend 10 minutes, try it out. How to design a business to create jobs for 5 people so that they can have a nice little activity and contribute. And your business goes on by itself once you invest, and they will return the money. That's what the social business is. Social business returns the investment you made, but you don't take any dividend after that. It stays back into the thing. You see, that reminds me of the money that I'm giving from my pocket, 5, 10 people. That opened the door. It became millions and hundreds of millions now. So if you can do 5, you open the door for the most difficult problem in the world. In wealthy countries, they solve it. Unemployed young people, how did they solve it? They gave them welfare. Write a check. You are on a state charity. State will take care of it. That's not a solution. Giving charity is never a solution. It's always a temporary measure, help you. But the ultimate solution is to put you back on your feet. But nobody goes up to that. Just stop right here. So that's the problem. So social business is just like that, simple things. I don't want to go into elaborate examples of it, but now we have lots of ideas. Most of it is driven by young people. And now big companies are coming to join us in social business. That's also an exciting part of us. One of the problems that I wanted to mention here is the problem with the young people within Grameen Bank. Now Grameen Bank is 40 years old. So there are a lot of children grown in the families of Grameen Bank. First, we wanted to make sure they go to school. 100% of the children of Grameen families must go to school. This was a decision we wanted to make sure we made it, and we made it. Because their parents are totally illiterate, never went to school. So we want to stop the history at that parents' level. So the children level will create a new history. Nobody is illiterate. Nobody is uneducated. And that happened. But when you are educated, you went to school, you got an education loan, you had degrees, but there is no job. Everybody keeps complaining there is no job. What do we do? So at the beginning, I have no answer. What do I do? How many, in the 9 million families, guess how many young people there? If you have 2 per family, you have 18 million young people right there. How do you do that? Then I started responding. I said, who told you to have a job? Very strange question. They cannot answer. Did your teacher tell you to have a job? Did your books tell you to have a job? No answer. I said, whoever told you, forget it. They gave you the wrong information. Job is an obsolete idea. It's a wrong idea. That's why it became obsolete. For you, you think differently. Clean up your mind. Job orientation is not the way to go. Tell yourself again and again, I'm not a job seeker, I'm a job creator. And behave like a job creator. Seeking job make you feel small because you are at the mercy of other people. Why should any human being be at the mercy of anybody else? You are complete by yourself. You don't need anybody's mercy. Use your creative power too. That's how we survive on this planet. When we came into the planet, we are not sending job applications. It didn't exist. We became hunters. We didn't do job application. We became gatherers. We became farmers. We are go-getters. We are problem solvers. That's what we are. And millions of years of history in us. Who decided to send job applications? Only 2 centuries, 2.5 centuries? Before that, that didn't exist. We had slavery, but that's a different story. That's a power game. But we are not a job applicant. We never liked slavery. The power made us into slaves, but we want to take care of ourselves. With technology, that makes more powerful. Not only I have creative power, and I have technology in my hand. I can do anything I want. So I keep on saying that all human beings are born as entrepreneurs. This is part of our DNA. It's in our blood. So if you're telling about jobs, people who are promising jobs, they're giving absolutely wrong information. You have to reverse that too. We don't want any job. Job is my failure because I couldn't take care of myself. So I become an entrepreneur. How do we get to become an entrepreneur? Is it something I need to know? Maybe, maybe not. There was no universities in prehistoric days. They took care of themselves. There is no university for Grameen Bank borrowers. They're illiterate, rural, poor women. They didn't go to any courses to start a business with $30. That's the starting point they have usually. So why do we need all these things to start a business? We don't. We need to know, that's something else. But to start a business, you don't have to figure out. But if you know about business, that's helpful. But that's not the condition that you must have it before you go to business. So we come back to that. Tell the young people in Grameen families, forget about jobs. Clean it up. You are an entrepreneur, and do that. If your illiterate mother, 30 years back, could start her life with $30 loan and start a business, what's wrong with you? You got a degree and all that, and say, I need a job? Can't you learn from your mother? Why don't you go back to your mother, learn from her? She has the best thing in her because she's intact. Nobody could pollute her. Academic institution couldn't get to her. That's why she retained herself as a pure person. And she took care of herself. So if that education has polluted you, get rid of that education. Be yourself. Find out. And what we have done, we created a social business fund. Ask all these young people to come up with business ideas. Some of them say, oh, we don't have any business idea. Where do we begin? I said, how come your mother had a business idea? What's wrong with you? She had a business idea. She needed $30. She needed $40. And that's what we gave. And nothing else. We never trained her. We never told her how to run a business. The rest she has done it by herself. Not once. Year after year, she has grown. She has developed. You're born in that family. She sent you to school. Now you're telling me that you have no idea? Your mind is completely cleaned up by your education? Go back. Find out what your mother does. Start from her idea. Whatever he has been doing, do it 10 times more. Make it 50 times more because you have the knowledge, you have the connectivity, you have everything. You have the technology, which your mother never had. So start it. So now they are coming with business ideas. So 2.5 years back, we started this in a big way. Now, every month, we have more than 1,000 young people coming with business ideas, and we keep on investing. We are a venture capital, social business venture capital, meaning that we give the money to you, you make it successful, return the money that I gave you. We are not money-making people. We are not interested in your profit. In venture capital, they want to make the big profit. We reversed it. We said, no profit. All I want to solve your problem. That's how our money is available for you. And you make it successful, return the money. If you're not successful, I will not abandon you. I will give it a second try because it's my business too, because I'm your partner. So if business fails, it's our business fail, not your business fail. So we have to work hard so that we can make it successful. And we'll be with you until you are successful, until you will be able to pay back all the money I gave you over time. And then our first job is over. You are successful, you return our money, and you are not doing that. So every month we're getting 1,000 of this. Every month is increasing. By the end of the year, our projection is we'll be having at least 2,000 per month. We could jump into thousands right now because we don't have the capacity to handle all this. So we want to go step by step. Last year we started with about 300 or so per month, ended up with 1,000 per month. Now we want to go to 2,000 per month, and that's it. What does it say? It says, yes, given opportunity, everybody can become entrepreneur. In the first round, if they're not coming, they're hesitating. They don't know what to do. But the moment they see his friend or her friend is doing it, say, my God, I can do better. And she comes back. Says, here's my advice here. This is what I want to do. It's okay, here's the money, go ahead. Imagine what happens if all of us can become entrepreneurs. Economy will be different, life will be different. We don't have to worry about it. Today, unemployment is a big issue, not only in Bangladesh or India or Pakistan or whatever other countries. In big countries, in wealthy countries. In Europe, it's a huge problem. Spain has about 48% of youth unemployment. These young people not only missing jobs for a few years, for their entire life, that phase is over. And they are even describing it in the media, missing generation. A whole generation will never see any job. For them, job means life and death. And why? Because we thought they have to wait for a job. Why wait? Does it make sense? At least it doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense, energetic, creative young person doing nothing? As if somebody has put a spell on him? You know, in all the magic fairy tales and so on, that somebody comes and put a spell on you and you can't move. So they must have put a spell on you. Theory has put a spell on them, and you can't move. Otherwise, you have 101 ways how you can activate yourself, do things, but you don't. That's where we went wrong. So we have to come back and check every point that we have. Where do we come? Where are we here for? What is the purpose of our life? Do we have to believe in the things that they have passed on to us in the name of theory and create an awful life? All the wealth soaring into the sky in the hands of few people, and we get nothing, and we are happy we got a job, and I can take care of me, I'm happy with that. No, I have so much bigger purpose in my life. I want to change the world. Not just change me, not just take care of me, I want to take care of the whole world. That's the capacity I have. We must believe in it, that we have unlimited capacity to change the world. And then once we are convinced that, yes, I have the unlimited capacity, then raise the question, how am I going to use it? What purpose? You have to build a purpose to use your creative power. Then life becomes interesting, exciting. Yes, I have a purpose, and I have the creative power to make it. Imagine the world that you want to create. Imagination is the best thing to happen. It's not something that you can ignore. If you don't imagine, it will never happen. If you imagine, it will happen. And that's the power. So imagine and start doing it. Make it happen. Imagine about a world that you want to live in. And that's what, once you do that, then it will start happening. What I do, I imagine a world with 3 zeros. And that's kind of destination I put in front of me so that I can build the roads to get there. I don't take the roads as given. I build the road to get there. If the roads are not available or it's not convenient to get there, I abandon it, I dismiss it, I don't accept it. The goals are fixed. Destination has to be designed first. Then other things follow. Today we say, we follow the road, wherever that takes me, I try to make a comfortable stop here and so on. That's submitting to the wishes of other people. Why should I submit to the other people's wish? I submit to my wishes only. So 3 objectives that I have, 3 zeros, I put it in terms of 3 zeros. 0 poverty. No reason why anybody anywhere should be a poor person. It doesn't make sense. It is the outcome of the wrong system which created poverty. Poverty is not created by the poor people. It's created by the system that we built around us. So we undo the system, people come out of poverty. Zero unemployment. There's no reason why anybody should be sitting idle. We can create our own activity by ourselves. We don't need anybody's help in that. All we need is a financial system where we can deal with it so that I can start my journey with the money that I need to begin with. That's a financial system. It's not a charity. It's an investment together so that I can do that. I explained to you. Third zero, zero net carbon emission. We do not want to blow up this world. We want to keep it as a safe world, not for us, for all the generations to come. People are busy to make sure our life is better. In the process, destroy the life of my children and grandchildren and generations thereafter. That has to undo also. We want to make sure the world would be a better place for our next generation that we found it. What we are doing now, we make it more dangerous world for our next generation than the dangerous world that we inherited. That's again a wrong direction. So we have to find the right direction. So these three zeros can pull me in the direction that I want, and I want to create those roads to get there. And I hope you can build your own roads too. Thank you very much.